Hi sewing and quilting friends, it's Carolina Moore and I'm here on the Stitch in Heaven YouTube channel, and I'm going to share with you a fun ruler that you may not have seen before, and it is the house ruler. Now the house ruler, it'll cut house shapes, which is exactly what you think it'll do because, you know, it's a house shaped ruler. But this ruler cuts so many different shapes under this roof. To show you about all the different shapes that it'll cut, I have a 3.5 inch strip of fabric, and we're going to see how many different shapes we can get with this house ruler and this 3.5 inch strip of fabric. And let me tell you, you are going to be amazed. You ready? Let's get started. So I have my 3.5 inch strip of fabric. I'm just going to lay it on my mat. The first thing that I want to do with my fabric, because I have my selvage edge here, is to square up my edge. I also have this kind of raw little bit there, so no big deal. I'm just going to use the side of my house ruler, line up the edge with my fabric, and trim off my selvage edge. Now while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and cut a square. This is a 3.5 inch strip of fabric, so all I need to do is go in 3.5 inches. This is 1, 2, 3, and I've got a quarter here. So 3.5 inches is going to be right there. And I've cut myself a square. So there's one right there. The next obvious one is going to be to cut a half square triangle. And for a lot of these different designs, we're going to use this middle line, this spine down our house, to cut our designs. So for a 3.5 inch strip of fabric, our finish size is going to be 3 inches. So for half square triangles, we always add a 7/8. So we're going to cut 3 7/8 inches down. 7/8 is just 1/8 away from 4. Trust me, it's good. And you've got your little raw edge cut off over here, or your little dog ear already trimmed off over there. And there we go. We have our half square triangle piece. Perfect, right? We already have this all now set up for being able to do a quarter square triangle, which also works for a flying geese block. So all we need to do is line up the black tip off the edge of the fabric. So there's a line underneath the black tip, and that gets lined up right there. We're lining up our line right along here. And this is actually 3 5/8, but it all lines itself up perfectly. And then we have a perfect quarter square triangle with that dog ear already cut off, which also works for a flying geese block. So this one is done. That's 3 different designs already there. While we have a nice little 45-degree angle here, we can go ahead and cut this as a trapezoid. Whatever pattern you're using that needs a trapezoid will already tell you what size your trapezoid needs to be. So it's pretty simple to just trim off however much you need. Lining everything up. And now you have a trapezoid shape. You can also make house-shaped blocks with this. We already talked about it being a house-shaped ruler, so a house-shaped block is pretty simple. You're going to cut whatever size piece you want for your house, with the height of your house, and this would obviously also be in your pattern instructions. So once you cut your rectangle, you can then line it up, and you just want to center it, which I do not have this centered because it's 3.5 inches. There we go. So have it centered with that black line right at the top, just like we did with our quarter square triangle units. We're gonna trim, and then we have our house shape unit. Now we need to see what other shapes we can make. We can go ahead and make another square like we did before. So I'm going to do 3.5 inches, and I'm going to cut my 3.5 inch square. and I can cut corners off my 3.5 inch square. Oh, this one has a little fold in it. Let's go ahead and cut ourselves another 3.5 inch square. So we're cutting a 3.5 inch square. There we go. And now we can trim the corners off of our 3.5 inch square, whatever size we want to cut corners off. So in this case, I'll center it just like before, like I'm making a house block. Flip it over, and I can do the same thing on the other side. And in this case, I've made myself a little diamond with my dog ears already cut off. You can do that with rectangles, you can do that with larger size squares. There's so many different ways that you can use this house block to make, and we've already made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different shapes with this block. And you can make these in all different sizes as well as the different shapes. This is the house ruler, and it's a whole lot of quilting all under one roof. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave those down below. Remember, we're hanging out on the Stitch in Heaven YouTube page today, so you want to make sure that you're subscribed to this channel, and down in the description you will find more details on how to add this house ruler to your ruler wall. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I'll see you here real soon. Bye for now.